Well then. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley decided to go to the
this is my
staff
job.
lounge
Get out of
to
here.
check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Not really.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I wonder how many places there's to be in here.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
It's time to go downstairs, everyone.
Coming to a staircase,
I went
Stanley
downstairs.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I love going downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk? All because he believed everyone had disappeared? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Maybe I'm going in
Everyone I
circles.
know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it. And a
Well, there's
nagging
many
fear
explanations,
began
but
to
I think
creep
it
up in his
can be
mind.
explained
Questions
many
that had
things.
been there all along. He just hadn't put his finger on them yet. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
It's
And for
the
that
end.
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Was he just walking around in circles?
Oh yes, I
Where
realized
am
that
I,
a very
he
long time
thought.
ago. I am not crazy.
And the more he found himself unable to answer these questions, the more questions continued to arise, until he came to the issue that had been slowly boiling until he could ignore it no longer. Why is there a voice in my head, dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Are you really the voice?
Suddenly,
How about
every
that?
door slammed shut.
No!
No! Stanley screamed. I need to get out of here. I need to know that there's something out there. I need to know it's not just all in my head. And he screamed
And then
and clutched at his
everything
skull
went red.
as the voice grew harsher and the music in the background rose higher and higher. And then, moments before collapsing to the ground, Stanley clenched his fists and screamed to anyone who might be listening, I'm not real! I'm not real! Don't believe any of it! None of it's real! And then everything went black.
It's just a dream.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? What just
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She got dressed, went to
Hey,
work,
it's
clocked
me.
in, clocked out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Moments after seeing him, she would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move. The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things would be to exist inside the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and pity him. But Mariella had places to be and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
Where's the running? Oh. And then Lewis got on Starbound. Such an amazing ending, everyone.